Hello, everyone. So we are here again, me, Paula, and Soph. I'm very happy to see you here again. And we are digging deeper in the divorces. And today our topic is about rushing into rebound, about the consequences of fast dating just after divorces. It's one, I think, of the funniest topic that we will talk about. Of course, we will talk a lot about the consequences, about the outcome of fast dating. We will share our experiences. So it will be very interesting. So hello, everyone.
Hi, Raminta, welcome, and Paula, welcome, and welcome everyone. And it's going to be interesting topic. It's going to be interesting conversation. Looking forward to it. Um, Paula, please, anything you?
Yes, yes. Hello. Yeah, I was really waiting for this podcast because it is interesting topic, and yes, when it comes to divorces, it can be sometimes very difficult and hard conversations. But when we move to that dating part, it can be really really funny one. So uh, let's see how it goes.
Yes, and the first question mine would be, when you decided to divorce with your partners, what was your choice? You started to date or you started to stay single, get out of the divorce? What was your experiences? Can you share?
I would go with my experiences when I was realized that this relationship is not going to go far, and thinking about, okay, at some point I'll be divorced. I know that I'll be alone. And it's kind of a midlife crisis or whatever you can say. It kind of a really a hard emotion that probably everyone experienced it differently. For myself, it was like a midlife crisis. I don't know. I spent half of my life with this marriage. I don't know whether I'll have another life having another partner, whether I'll have any success in new relationship. It was scary, and I never pursue that route to date anybody. And I don't know if it is still I'm going through my journey to, but I'm I I took this opportunity to work on myself, to work on the past relationship, past experiences, to cope with those. And that is the biggest challenge or biggest um, realization for me, um, to not to pursue to have another partner in life. Like, I don't know how it is going to be. It's scary. It's scary because going through that past relationship for a long time, it's not easy to see myself in another relationship, how it's going to go. So I'm just enjoying my single, as a bachelor single, as a single dad, and I'm enjoying my freedom actually. That is how I'm taking it.
And
Good,
you,
good.
Paula?
Enjoyed. So first stage for me, of course, was crying, being miserable, being honestly envy of every happy couple I could see on the street. And I also remember when I was 26, one of a very close person to me, said something like, after you're 30, it's really difficult to find a partner for life. And that kind of stuck in my head. So I also remember that was like not helping. But when I moved on and I was no longer sad and the divorce and marriage was way behind me, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going back there. I cannot date. I'm too old for that. I've been on the last day, like I don't know even how many years ago. Um, And I remember there was that time, it was like, spring, summertime. You can see lots of couples in parks out there. You can kind of sense that that might be like first or the second dates. I was kind of watching them, seeing like how it was, because literally, if you haven't done it for such a long time, you have no idea what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So for quite a long time, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I was so happy with myself. I was building my own life, and then a friend set me up. So that was the first time I was trying to date, and then I got on the app for like out of curiosity, because another friend was really saying like, oh, it's so fun, you can have a few really nice dates. Even if nothing comes out of it, you can spend like a nice time with somebody. So I was coming from that friend, and I remember like I was sitting on the train like, okay, let's open that up. I opened up, I created my profile. I didn't really care much like what's on that profile. That was literally just to see what's there. So yeah, so that was my beginning.
Okay. And I will share mine. I jumped into the dating very, very fast. I was still living with my ex-husband because he disagreed to move out from the house, and like I didn't know what to do. But I will explain why, because my situation was different. I decided to get divorced. I told my ex, he agreed about that, but like nothing is moving. We're starting to do the paperwork and all other stuff. And he was always acting like we are together. And he was going to some military stuff for 3 weeks. And I decided that, okay, in these 3 weeks, I have to find someone. Otherwise, I can decide to go back to that relationship again when he will come back. Like, so I download the app. I was, you don't know, like even now at my app, there is like more than 200 matches like, and like started conversations and date. But I was dating so much, like I was talking with so many people, with going to the meetings, like. And during that period, at the beginning, at my divorces, I got so many offers, like it was like, when I started dating, I was like, everybody are giving me everything what I ever wished for, but I'm not ready at that, because for me, dating was not to go back to my ex. I was not ready to commit to someone. And they like, look, I have an apartment. Like you're still living with your ex. You can move in here. I can rent other place. Like you can like there was so many, such a good like offers for me, like from a different man, that I was like, okay, what is happening right now? What, like, my self-esteem increased so fast. So like I stabilized myself. I started to feel myself, because my ex told me what stuck in my head. Like that was the last message. After that morning conversation, I said, no, I don't want to be with that man anymore, because he said, now you are with 2 kids, so no one will need you, no one will want to be with you, so now I'm safe. It means I don't need to put any efforts now in a relationship, because you are mother with 2 kids. So this was the end. And when I started dating, when I started to talk with a different man, I was in that mindset that no one like want to be with me. And I was scared to tell where I am, that I'm a mother, that I have 2 kids and all other things. So this was my experience. But I would ask you how you see dating in general after divorces.
Before I answer that, I wanted to add something to your experience, what you mentioned. It feels more like a job search. Like from my professional work, what I see is like when after 5, 6 years with the same company that you work, and all of a sudden you start to feel like whether you worth or not, you started applying outside, and when you start getting offers with higher salaries, you started to see your self-worth. I immediately it caught off my head because that is how I start to look for job after a few years, like to see that how much I worth outside. Am I getting enough paid? So I could relate that experience what I mentioned in that perspective. But back to your question, uh, is that a risk after divorce getting into the dating? So how I see it is psychologically and emotionally we try to see our past relationship and project onto another relationship. Um, Even if I'm not in a relationship, I see that I would, as soon as I'm out of that relationship, still going through because that past relationship is going to be there. It's going to be there. That is my experience. And unless and until I heal through that past experiences, I'll be projecting and looking into those flaws or good or bad experiences onto another person, how that's going to be. So if I am going to get into the dating or having someone thinking about having a partner, then I'd be like, is this person is going to be better than what I had? Or am I going to be treated differently than my past experiences? All those questions, all those things are going to again come into that relationship. I think how it works is the most thing that triggered us or emotionally was triggering in the relationship, we will try to compare. And we will try to compare that with the future relationship and whatever it is, dating or you start to meet someone, even if it is not dating, then if we start to consider someone, then we'll be having those past experiences are going to show up. That's going to trigger. And I think the healing process is needed before even start to get into the relationship. That is how I would say, in my experience, I have to heal through my process in order for me to give that space for someone else so that I won't be triggered or I won't be uh, able to, I won't be judging that person or I won't be judging myself because end of the day, we will be judging ourselves and also other person based on our past experiences. Paula.
Got it. Um, how do I find dating? I didn't really enjoy it that much at the beginning because I was really stressed. And even though I was passed to through that healing time, I was absolutely okay. I was going from the place where the divorce was behind me, my ex was out of my mind. Um, I was really stressed because at the beginning, um, I was always thinking like, are they gonna like me? And dating is good, and it's good to meet people and to meet men for women or women for men or however it works, because we are a little bit different version of ourselves than we were when we were dating our exes. So you kind of um, see how it now works for you, how you react to that other person, how they react on you, on your personality, on what you like, what you don't like. Um, but yes, I was really stressed, especially the first dates from the apps, which was for me, who I am an introvert, so for me to go and meet somebody I've never really seen in person. I remember I was driving to a date in the winter last year, and I was thinking in my head, what am I doing? Why am I going there? It's dark, it's cold, it's raining. Why am I not just sitting at home? I have such a great life. I'm so happy with myself. But no, it's good to go there. But what I've noticed, once I went through that first stage, and I get more comfortable with going on dates, especially first dates, um, I started being more picky in a way. I had enough time to realize what I want, what I don't want, what didn't work for me in my past relationship. So it's not like being picky in the wrong way. It's actually to know what are your non negotiables. What do you need? What do you actually want? And then not really going for anyone who would be love bombing you, because that happens. Not going for anyone who basically, let's say, check all of the positions on your list, but you feel something doesn't work. Then if you feel something doesn't work, you know that's not for you. So I think with the time, if you have a little bit more practice, and especially for me, it was like when I was more used to that, when I was so not stressed, I actually enjoy that. Because first of all, it's always nice to meet a new person. I never had really any bad experiences. I cannot say any bad thing about dates, any of the dates I was on. So yeah, I would say it's good to go there and practice, and it will get better and better.
Yes, I agree with you, Paula, because there are a couple of things why I chosen to go on the date just after I decided to get divorced. Because from my experience, from my childhood, and also from my client, I saw the same pattern. Because human brains are so easy to understand. They want to delete everything what is bad in your memory. They don't want to experience that. And what I saw also, because I was working with a woman, and I saw that in my childhood, that why women are coming back in a relationship where they experiences physical, sexual, or psychological abuse, because when the person is separate from you, then you blur all the bad experience. You don't want to remember pain, and you remember those just small beautiful details that was good, that shows good experiences, good emotions. And after that, you are coming back to the toxic, to the bad relationships that are not suiting you anymore. That's why for me the goal was, I will date, I will know the man, what is outside. I was so curious to hear their stories. And I'm so happy because I saw the different perspective from their side with the experiences. And I love to talk about their lives and to know them. And I met a lot of very, very nice men that, they were very genuine, they were very nice, very good, very polite, and all of that. At the same time, this helped me because I know that I will find a person for 6 months. After 6 months, I will end that relationship, because at that time I understood that I'm miserable. I'm not the healed me, just what you experienced, that just what you said. I noticed that 100%, that the person that I will pick won't stay with me for a lifetime. It's just for a period for me to go through the divorces. And this is what I always telling, because I know how it works. I know how my mindset is shifting. And this was like therapy, coaching didn't help me. I had to have someone to be attached because I have disorganized attachment style. Like I did that, all of that with very, very clear mindset, understanding what I'm doing. Of course, when the date, I found a man with who I was dating, I was creating relationship. I add a date when I will end the relationship. And I said, okay, like, and I was open, like, I'm going through the divorces. I think like after 3 months, I will tell you how it will go. So after 6 months, I will end the relationship. And I ended the relationship. I said, okay, we are divorced. I don't want to be with you anymore. Like this is done. Like I'm sorry. I see that like you need something else. I'm at a different stage because I healed myself. I see myself differently. And it was hard because he wanted to continue relationship. He was reaching out to me. He was like telling, and like, yeah, it took 3 more months for us, but like I understood that it's not a relationship for me. There was a relationship because of this, not because for that I'm looking a partner. So I did it with the no matter how miserable I was at that time, but I did this, and I suggest to do that also to the people. But we will talk about consequences on the other part. But I suggest to do that to the people that recognize themselves and are aware that they don't have enough mental and physical power to end a relationship that are damaging them.
Yeah, that is interesting. From your experience, what you mentioned, um, I was reflecting on my relationship that I had. So I'm very introvert too. So my first marriage was an arranged marriage. My family actually arranged this marriage, and I never dated in my life. Uh, I was jumped into getting married. No dating, nothing. Started looking for, and my family started doing the arrangement. So now my biggest fear is I never dated in my life, and how to date. Okay, so this is my challenge of to get into the dating um, dynamic in this generation. So. Uh, And what you mentioned about Raminta, your experience, like you have to know more by dating about yourself. Even Paula, your experience is more you date, more you know about yourself, what you want in that person. I think that is the biggest advantage of knowing more people, dating more people, and knowing about them as well as knowing about yourself, because that's prospective is going to give you who you are. By eliminating what you don't want is the way to understand who you are. I think from my experience now, getting your expertise and your experiences is going to give me that understanding of who I am and what kind of relationship I want and what kind of person I wanted to be attached or be in relationship with. I think there is a lot of advantage by dating more and more people. What do you say?
I would say dating more and more people, like there are the consequences of dating, and especially fast dating after divorces, and looking for that, shift, that now I will change my partner to someone else, that I won't feel that gap that I'm missing. And usually it's about the casual things. I don't want to wake up in the morning. I want someone to be at home when I'm coming back. And like those small things that you are used to, body usually feels very, very bad when something is changing in our environment. And you are seeking that relationship. So I would say don't, like, it's not a game dating at the same time. Dating more and more, you can also be trapped. And I was analyzing a lot of about the highly sensitive personalities right now, and their high emotions and all that imagination about the next partner and all other things. We will talk, I think, in the next part. Paula, maybe you want to add something.
Actually, what I was thinking, because what you said, like after we are getting divorced, suddenly there's that emptiness. Everything changes, right? So we are afraid of that change. We are afraid to be lonely. We are afraid to, like, suddenly there's nobody to text buying milk when you're on your way home, or like simple things that we are used to, especially if you were with somebody for a really, really long time. When we get married, usually we have long time to get ready for it. We are dating, then we are engaged, then we know there's going to be wedding, then we prepare. And then with the divorce, there's not really that transition period, because usually there's that decision and that's it. Somebody moves out and suddenly you are alone. So quite often people are trying to just replace that feeling of being with somebody and having that person next to you really, really quickly. So that's not really good. That doesn't really come from the good place. But what I would say, also a really, really bad idea, is thinking that if you find another person who is in the same situation and you are both in a very dark place, is not a good idea, because you think you found somebody who understands you and who knows what you are going through, and you're going to be so good together because you can complete each other and you can help each other. And actually, you probably will be dragging each other down together, and it's not intentional. It's not like anyone has bad intentions here. This is just what happens, because instead of having somebody who's gonna pull you up, you both gonna stay in that misery and pulling each other down. And also, not a good thing, because you are probably in a state when you're not really the best version of yourself. That person is also probably in a state when they're not really the best version of themselves. And now think, when one of you heals and the other one invested emotionally in that relationship, suddenly that other person who healed might be a different person, or might be looking for a different person. So I would say, uh, wait a little bit longer. I'm really curious, Raminta, what you're gonna say about your your experience, and what's the psychology behind it. Because yes, I'm from the position, wait until you are confident and until you're not dragging past behind you.
I agree about with you that you healing yourself, but what I mention all the time, you cannot heal without other partner fully. You heal just one part, because when you meet the other person, that person will trigger you in absolutely different things that you didn't expect, and this is like the other stage of healing. I agree with you that you don't need to try to replace the person, because you need to go through that and it will cause you some kind of consequences. And for me, it was also some kind of consequences, because when you're starting relationship, you are getting into that emotionally and you're getting out of the relationship, and it's hard, that what I see, it's like a pattern. When a person is and this is what I also experienced, like my relationship, despite the fact that I was clear where I'm going, was more and more damaging me in other situation. And I will explain also what is happening when you are divorced, especially with a manipulative personality in one or other way. You are miserable. Then if you are rushing into the partner, usually what you are getting, you want to go to that ups and downs again, what you experienced with your partner, and to feel something, because your minds are detached from your body. This is the most common thing. So it means for you to feel love and to feel excitement and to feel all those good hormones into your organism, you need bigger turbulence from the partner. So what you are going into in the more abusive or different abusers relationship with what you are going. And after that, of course, you're getting to the highest ups and downs. But so if you are not going together with the therapy, with the coaching, and you are getting trapped in a relationship one after other, what my clients are also experiencing, they are seeing that, they still thinking that their first husband, that they have a marriage, was the best one and the only one who cared about them. Because the others are like worst and worst prototype of that personality. So this is what is happening. So you need to be aware that, yes, if you had that high level of attachment, you can create a relationship, but don't think that this would be the partner of your life, because probably you will choose the same pattern if you are not healed enough. But if you are scared that you will go back to that partner by seeing him or her as a, like, I don't know, like a god, because in manipulation you think that you did everything wrong and it's your fault for the divorces and for all the dynamic of the relationship. So you will try to change yourself and even lose yourself more. This is my view.
Yes, I agree what you mentioned, because 2 years back when I separated, I started living separately. And first thought came to my mind was I was the reason the relationship went bad, and I was the reason for everything. And at the same time, I had a feeling at the time was, what can I do to fix everything? Like, I don't know whether you had that feeling or not, but that was my feeling too. Whatever it takes to fix this relationship, I'm going to do that. And try to change myself, try to whatever I can do to make her happy. That was kind of the mindset I had. And slowly, until I realize, I reflect on that, no, any relationship, it's not just one person's responsibility, and not one person should take the accountability for their relationship. It has to be both person. Even in future, like if you're dating, and if I'm going to date or meet someone, I think whatever I learned from my past relationship, uh, that those reflections, the retrospect on those relationship, where it went wrong, or whatever the lessons I learned from those in the past relationship, is going to help me guide through the future relationship. It's kind of a pointer, I would say, because it's not about comparison, but those experiences are my lessons that I had to learn, I have to learn. And we are social creature. I don't think that I will be single forever. And of course, in my mind, I came to my thoughts that I'll be a monk. I don't want to get into any relationship anymore. I don't want to deal with anything. But there are two options. Either we have to stay in the society, being the social creature, or we can be monk and stay in jungle without any relationship. So I lived that phase also, being alone for a very long time, almost a year, 6 months to a year being alone. And I realized that no, I'm not made out to be a monk and staying in jungle. I need to come to the society, be the social creature. So being social means we have to interact with others. Like I have to interact with my colleagues at work, with my friends, family, and everybody. And I don't think there is a relationship exist with a perfect balance. I think that comes to our own responsibility, how we wanted to keep the relationship or how we wanted to build the relationship. Um, it all based on our past experiences and the traumas and how the attachment style also, how we behave the way we behave. I think there is a healing process involved in this process to understand ourselves, our relationship styles, our uh, who we are authentically, to be able to find someone uh, that can help you heal where we are going to get triggered. I think it's not going to be like rainbows and roses for any new relationship. It's going to be same, the challenging. It might be different, or it could be the exact the relationship we had in past. We might find out that, oh no, it's the same, repeating the same patterns and everything. And I have heard from my clients, they get into the relationship that look exactly the same as their past relationship. And by talking through those situations with my client, I realized that sometimes they haven't healed through the process. They haven't discovered their own authenticity, and trying to kind of a universe giving you another opportunity to revisit those, or they kind of stumble upon those situations, it kind of repeating. And what I learned from my clients' experience who are going through those kind of relationship one after another, they are getting into the cycle of uh, what is that called? Is this life and death in the same life, going through the same patterns of um, events that they had in the past relationship. I think those are the learning from myself, from my clients who are going through the relationship challenges. Um, this is my only marriage that I had, so I didn't have any experience with any other relationship. But from my clients, I get to know that in life, in general, we get to see those patterns all the time unless we recognize those and we learn from those mistakes and to work on those on ourselves, then we can get out of that cycle. So that is how I experienced my relationship, and how or what kind of relationship I want. I'm getting more clarity. I think your experiences are additional resources for me to learn from.
And I would tell a couple of things because I really liked what Paula said, that she started to be picky. So I would also suggest everyone to start dating, but not to get into that. I don't know, maybe you will share the beginning, because what I hear from the client, this was not my experience, but when they are starting date very fast after divorces, and I ask them what you are looking for, they are telling like that he won't beat me, or that the person won't cheat on me. Like they have just one thing that they want from that man. And I was like, and what about all other things? He is supposed to be intellectual, you like more sportic type, like you just need that one thing. Like Paula, what was your experiences?
Um, with things like um, that actually goes to triggers, and also what you said about dating after being in an abusive relationship. Um, when even now I would hear something like, "Oh, I would never cheat on you," or something. Like, yeah, I've heard that before, right? So that doesn't work on me. Like, I'm sorry. Besides, like, women have to understand that when it comes to dating, you should look for actions, not really like wait for words, because whatever man says to you, okay, let's see if actually action's gonna follow that. That's very important. With being
I
picky,
love this. I love this. Thank you for mentioning that, because this is so true.
yes.
Like, so true. Thank you for this.
No, this is good for a man's point of view to understand what is the psychology, because men's, as per
Yeah.
me also, like, yes, we say things that we are going to do this, that, or but action doesn't follow. Very true.
But the thing is, women buy the words. That's the thing.
Yes.
If a man is
And
smart and they know exactly what to say, and if women didn't have time to learn how it works, they're gonna buy it. And
and what is also that men don't understand that we remember what you promised, like
oh
what
yeah,
you said,
yeah,
and
and
then
we
we're
remember.
starting to come.
And
Yes, I was analyzing that, because like we, like, women by choosing relationship are counting more than a man, because she need to count everything. So she's listening and she's making her conclusions. And the
yes,
problem starts when men don't follow their words. So it's very important not to listen, but see what man is doing.
yeah, we make mental notes all the time. But also, what I noticed, not only from my experience, but also from women I spoke to, if we got out of especially abusive relationship, we are very sensitive to our ex's characteristic. And the men we are dating now, or even a man I don't know, like a colleague from work or something, we might project what our ex was doing on that person, and sometimes that might not be fair, because there might be one small thing that might remind us of something that the ex was doing, and we're suddenly like, oh, no, 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 you are not, no, we are not going there. Next. So what I will say, try to look at the situation from the perspective of a third person, or talk to somebody like to a coach or a therapist, because that really helps to get a different perspective. Because another person might be doing something that you think is exactly what your ex was doing, because that was so hurtful for you, or that was a traumatic experience, but actually it might not be that thing. So yeah, I would also say, like, it's all matter of time, but try to not, be too judgmental. Yes, that would be my part.
Thank you very much for sharing. I really loved what you're sharing and what you're saying. And I would tell the biggest risk, because when you look at the statistic, why it's so important not to date fast, or be very aware, or have some third party next to you, because the most vulnerable, like when you look at the society, are divorced women. And usually, because of the apps, they are getting trapped in some financial scams where they are giving money. And also, this is the biggest part of people who are trapped, like in human trafficking. So if you look, the most what are who are sought for prostitution are women, and especially those who has kids, like whole family divorced women. So when you are going on dating, you have to understand that you are the target for the criminal world, because they know that you are miserable. They know how to speak, how to manipulate, how to work with you, and they know what they can take from you. So this is the biggest risk, especially right now when most of the things are happening in online, not live, not face to face, not through the friends, not through the colleagues or people that you know. So that's why I would tell, be very, very aware, because on all the apps, I tried, I think, about 15 or 20 different apps. And in all of them, I was having some kind of scammers. Also, people who are working on human trafficking. I collect all the information and gave that to the criminal police and all other things. So you have to be aware, because if you are not noticing the patterns that they are doing, how they are working, and especially women right now from Europe are the biggest target. So be aware. I just want to tell this because this is my topic number one. When I started dating, I started to collect all the information, to speak, to talk, to see how they are working. So you have to be very, very careful with who you are talking, what kind of information, about sending all the pictures, sending naked videos, and all other things. This is what is happening. And like divorced women are the most sensitive in this area.
If
I
I
would
might just
say,
ask, okay, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Paula.
I just wanted to add that's very important thing, and especially if we are after divorce, our self-esteem is low. Somebody who is telling us we're beautiful, somebody who make us feel that we are amazing, who adores us, we quickly might fall for that. We might fall too quickly. So it's like going shopping when you're really hungry. You just grab everything that looks tasty. As Raminta said, be aware. And I would say not only to dates from people you met on with people you met on online dating apps, because also somebody who might be a person who you know through a colleague or somebody from the family, you don't really know them. So always remember, if you're going on a date, and this is what I was doing, few of my friends knew exactly where I was going. I would always go in a public place, especially for the first date. So be really careful about that. And I would say, if something feels too good to be true, too beautiful, like a fairy tale, this is where you should be really, really careful. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, so.
No, thank you. Thank you for that information, because it's not just for the women, it's for the men's too. Because both female or male, or no matter the gender, is when someone is getting out of a relationship, you are in a very vulnerable situation emotionally, and they are exposed. They're exposed in terms of being vulnerable, and anyone can manipulate to take advantage. And even there are stories I firsthand I have heard from my clients. Is one of my client was being scammed by this woman, and he lost over all of his retirement money on this scam. How he was being manipulated, because he was vulnerable, he was looking for a relationship and being scammed, and he lost everything. He lost his house, his savings, retirements, everything. So it's not just for female, for male as well, because because there are good and bad people in the society. It doesn't matter of the gender. um, but of course, like what Raminta you mentioned about the the scams and this trafficking, human trafficking, and getting that is higher risk of being physically being um, damaged, not just emotionally but physically. Same with the men. You just not have to be careful, but being aware, because when we are in vulnerable situation or in an emotion, we don't think what we are doing. That is why we need some third party to evaluate if I'm in a right relationship or not. Like earlier, what we talked about, Paula, you mentioned that see it from a third party viewpoint, whether you are in a good relationship or not, even though it is like let's say a month or 2 months into the relationship, to assess whether you are in a right relationship. I won't take that risk of coming out of a relationship. Um, I think the school, after going to the JCT school, that what I learned about myself, also about uh, psychology and understanding human behavior, studying a lot of books, learning from those, and by knowing from, it doesn't matter where you are living, whether Europe, US, or Asia. I think everywhere there are good and bad people, and we just have to be aware of who we are dealing with. It may be from your friends of friends that you come to into contact, but you cannot just start believing someone because he or she is a friend of your friend. I think that is where the risks are, because end of the day, it's our actions, our commitment, and our um, whatever we do, we have to take accountability and responsibility for our actions. And end of the day, you may lose your life. That's a worst case scenario that can happen. Not just your money, your assets, but it there is a possibility to lose your life too.
Yes, and thank you both for sharing. So yes, for the dating, when you start dating, of course, it's like when you meet first time, second, and even third time, I suggest from my experience also to be in a public place, to tell someone where you are at the same time, uh, be aware about your finances and everything what is being most like you need just to wait a little bit, and it doesn't matter it's about relationship, it's about finances, or it's about like human trafficking. Like you just need to go there, or you just need to be there. So in human trafficking, I will explain how it's working. I think it's a good place. So right now what usually is happening, so divorced women with the kids usually are targeted to travel out of the Europe, that they won't be able to track where they are traveling. So first of all, from their country, they are coming somewhere in the Europe country. In other, for example, if I'm from Lithuania, I'm traveling to meet someone in France, and from there they are picking women with their kids, if they are traveling with the kids, to meet even first time that person. They prove them to go to visit them, and after that they are going somewhere like in India, in South America, or other countries where you cannot track where they're traveling, and there is no possibilities to find that person and to know where they are going or where they are. So, and the last question would be how you would say that people can notice that they are ready for dating, for looking for the partner for their lifetime.
So, do you want to start?
Yeah, this is very interesting because I'm in the middle, hanging in, hanging in there. Uh, I think
So I would shift it for you to
yeah,
tell how you what shows you that you are not ready yet.
what shows me how I see that coming out of the relationship and how I see myself in another relationship. How I see myself is, am I happy? In terms of happy means, am I happy with my current situation, with my life? How I see it is, if I'm not satisfied with my own life, and if I'm bringing those unrealistic expectations to my partner in future, and that's not going to be satisfied. So right now, my focus is to me being satisfied with my own life, with my own finances, with my own relationship with my children, my family, my friends. If I'm not satisfied being myself, I don't know what I'm going to bring to that new partner. I'm not going to bring this grief, the pain, this traumas to the new relationship. That is where my focus is to how can I stabilize myself. It's like a oxygen mask. I believe that if I'm not capable enough to take care of myself, and if I'm not bringing any value to the new relationship, I don't deserve to have a relationship if I'm not bringing any value. So that is where I am. I would say that even we have talked in past in Instagram Live, Raminta, that uh, I strongly believe that we have to be equipped to self-sustain, to live. I wouldn't say that happily, not we won't be having that happily ever after thing. There will be challenges, but am I satisfied with my own life that I can offer and bring value, bring happiness, bring joy to the new relationship and to start over? I think that is most important for me.
I think you nailed it. I would basically say kind of the same thing. When you know your life is good and you are not looking for somebody to fix something for you or to fix your life or to make your life happy, then I think you're ready to date, because your life doesn't have to be perfect. It's not like we have to be absolutely in a perfect place and everything has to be sorted out. It has to be good. I have to be good with myself, because then that person is going to be cherry on top. And also, you don't need that person. When you know you don't need somebody, you want to be with somebody, especially if you're already dating for some time and there's not that panic in your head that you might lose them because of something. Um, because if you're just happy and you're happy with that person, you enjoy it as it is. You're not looking for that person to um, replace anything in your life. And I would also say, um, if you are still projecting pieces of your ex relationship, of your previous relationship, on the person you're seeing, person you're dating, maybe take a step back and try to think, where does it come from? Because if you're still projecting your wounds on the new relationship, you might keep doing that over and over again. So maybe try to, I'm not saying like break up, I'm not saying like stop dating, but think where that comes from. Try to work on it just for yourself, to be happier, to be able to enjoy that new part of your life, new stage in your life, because it is like we stopped being married, we stopped like a really important um, part of our lives, and whatever is happening after, that's a new chapter. So try to think that this chapter is going to be good for me, and the person that I want to be with, I want that person to be good for me, and I want to be good for that person. But again, it cannot come from the place of neediness, that my life is not really that great. I have nothing to do. I'm sitting at home. I'm bored. Everyone is outside with somebody. It's Valentine's Day. I'm sitting again alone. I need to find somebody. That's not really a reason to look for somebody. So yeah.
And I would challenge both of you, because what you are telling are so, public. Everybody are telling you don't need to need someone. You need to want. You need to heal. You need to be happy with your own. And I'm working with a lot of women. I'm speaking with a lot of women, and how to recognize, because I know myself. I remember myself 1 year ago. I was feeling, yes, I'm looking for them, not for need. I just want to be with someone. I'm healed. I'm 1 year after divorces. I'm good, but it was not time. So I really want to hear like that shift, that understanding, because I know that in my mindset, I wasn't the thing. I was thinking that I'm healed, but everybody was around me, and my therapist definitely noticed that it's not the truth. So I think that everybody, like on social media everywhere, are telling the same like sentences. I would say bullshit. But what is reality?
Yeah, you know what? Reality is hard. Reality is, it's not going to work the way you expect. Yes, that is how I feel, is to work on myself. Said this in last year too, that work on yourself. Um, but at some point, I'm going to be in a relationship, and it's going to trigger. It's going to, something from the past is going to again reappear. That cycle that I was talking about, wheel of life, like kind of a relation, any triggers, any trauma, it's going to show up again if we haven't addressed. I think it's normal. Like what Paula mentioned is we have to recognize those and to be able to address those. Suppose from my experiences from work relationship, I have experienced that I have seen certain patterns. It always shows up in with my colleagues, with my um, superiors or supervisors and other things. It shows up the way I am. In relationship, it's the same. In personal relationship too, it's going to show up. Even with the children, the patterns are always, there is a cycle, there is a pattern. Unless we recognize it and try to change it, I think that challenge is going to be there no matter what, how much I can work on myself. If something has to repeat, something that I haven't learned from the past, it's going to show up. So I should be mentally, emotionally be prepared to face that. And if I am self-aware and conscious about my own reflection of how or who I am, it's not going to be easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it is required, it is needed for me to self-reflect on everything on a daily basis to understand myself better. It's not that I have my relationship ended with my ex. No, there are children involved. So I have to interact with her. And once in a while something shows up, then I have to understand what is that, why it's bothering me. If something is bothering me by communicating with her because of my children, I cannot, she is going to be there for whole life of my life because of the children's involved. So there is always will be a connection with our exes if there are children involved, no matter what. I mean, there could be different situations, but in general, I will have that relationship no matter what, even though she's going to be my ex, but she is still the mother of my children. So there is no escape from that. And I think new relationship is going to bring some aspects of our own trauma. It's going to trigger us, and we have to learn from it. There is no escape. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's not going to be easy. And I think that is what's for us being self-aware, being conscious is to now we took this challenge to be better version of ourselves every day until we die. There is no escaping from that.
Okay, my turn. um, I agree. It's going to be hard. It's always hard. Life is hard. Life is difficult. There are things coming and triggering us, and we are always. Uh, I've noticed like some people think that there's some magical manual that some of us have how to deal with life, and we don't experience, or those people who seem to have a perfect life, they don't experience any issues. Everyone experiences issues in life. Everyone has issues in their relationships, even in the best relationships. But I wouldn't say that is a total bullshit, what we said before. I think when you know is when you don't feel that you have to date, when you don't feel that this is some kind of must for you. It's great I am with somebody. It's great if I'm not with somebody. Um, if I'm not being terrified that I'm gonna be alone, if I'm not terrified that I'm not gonna ever meet anyone, if I'm not terrified that, let's say I am with somebody, but I'm already thinking, oh, this is not gonna work because this, and that, I think that means we are in a pretty good place. Plus, is there that magical border where we are suddenly really ready for dating? I don't think there is. And I think for everyone it works completely different. So I think we have to really try to feel how dating, how maybe meeting with a new person, how maybe getting in a new relationship affects us, how we feel about it. Are we still ourselves? Maybe we can see like, okay, we are again changing or adjusting to please that person. So maybe that's not the best time for me, or maybe that's not a good person for me. And Raminta, you said like year ago, for example, somebody was dating somebody a year ago and thought that was the good time, and now it's not, because we are changing, we are growing. So I think there's not actually that magic moment when suddenly we are ready to date. But yeah, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to your emotions. Listen to your body, how you react on dating, how you react to that new person, um, and don't try to think that much about it, because even from my experience, what I can say about my beginnings with dating, I was definitely overthinking. I was thinking way too much instead of just letting it be and enjoying it.
Thank you. And I would share how I recognize that I'm ready for looking for the partner. And it was very simple for me. When I respect the other person choice to be with me and also not to be with me. So when the person don't want to stay with me, don't want to speak with me, don't want to interact with me, I respect that, I accept that, and I'm not needing to have it to get attention from him or to build a relationship. And also the other part, when I respect my own feeling that I don't want to stay with that person anymore. Like it's not working for me, and I'm not trying to think I need to change myself. Of course, in a relationship, when you are starting a new relationship, you will change yourself because you are not living alone anymore after divorces. Like you need to change and shift your personality. And every person, I think that in every relationship, your friends, your colleagues, your family members, like your new boyfriend of your sister will change you as a personality because this is an interaction. So we will change naturally, but we don't need to change ourselves to fit with that person. So for me, when I understood that I respect if someone wants to be with me, and I make my choices now if I want to be with him or not being with him because he wants to be with me. Now I'm accepting this relationship. And on the other side, when a person don't want to be with me, I don't try to prove that I'm worthy to be with you. So this would be my explanation, because you know that for me it was so complicated to understand that you want to be with person but you don't need to be with person. Like what the hell, it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's a really good summary of that. That when you can accept if the person wants to be with you or doesn't want to be with you, and that if you can, you can decide that you don't want to be anymore in a relationship because it doesn't serve you. So yeah, I think that's a really good sum up.
Okay, so thank you both for this conversation. I'm very happy again that we are here, and we will meet again with the other topic, and we will go deeper into the divorces and all the steps. This is a very, very good topic that we discussed, and we touched a funny part, a hard part, a risk part, and the outcome, how to notice that you are ready. So thank you for your knowledge that you shared. I'm very happy that we all have different stages and different experiences in this topic.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for both.
Thank you.
Thank you.